Welcome to Area 4 Gamecast, episode 4. Yes, this is episode 4, and we're back a lot sooner than I thought we would be. I'm your host, Preston Blake, and right beside me, we have our returning guest from last week, Steven. How you doing, man? How you feeling?
Doing all right. Feeling good.
That's good.
Weather's getting warmer, you know.
Oh yeah, I was burning. I was pretty much almost burnt myself like alive on a rooftop yesterday in Maryland when I was working in that scorched heat. I really like I probably wouldn't be back with this episode right now. At least not in the complexion I'm in right now. I don't know, but I still feel good anyway. So yeah. So anyways, we're here to pretty much bring you the news, the latest gaming news. I hope each and every week, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'd hope so. And yeah, pretty much tell you what we think about what's going on in the gaming world at the moment. And we only have a few pretty much stories today. Throughout the week, we collected a couple things and we went through them and we wanted to decide to talk about something that was actually ongoing instead of something that just happened. So pretty much, yeah. We only have 2 stories today, but we'll have some other stuff later on. Got a little surprise for you guys. And those 2 stories are Destiny 2 opening up a Strike playlist, crossplay. Strike, pretty much crossplay for Strikes only for now. And the other story is Starfield being announced for Xbox exclusive. Of course, you know that was probably going to happen with the old Microsoft and Bethesda deal going on for the past couple months. But since that was final, people were speculating for a while if Starfield will be exclusive for the Xbox or not. And now it is, including PC. So if you have a PC, you're pretty much in the clear, which is a good thing. And pretty much both of us have a PC, so we're in the clear anyways, even without the new Xbox Series X, which we both don't have at the moment. Do you? You don't have it right now, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah. So none of us have the Xbox Series X. I have the PS5, but obviously Starfield's not coming out for that, and I don't really care because I have a PC, and that's all that matters. PC Master Race, right? So let's dig into the first news. We knock this out first since it's the shorter one. Starfield, the one I just got off of. Starfield pretty much was announced. Like what? 2-3 days ago. Let me double check that.
20th, I think. Maybe
the exclusive deal. I mean, pretty much damn near 2 days ago. And we got this article from Eurogamer. Wesley Yinpool, editor at Eurogamer, pretty much posted this up on the 20th. Starfield launches late 2022, according to Bloomsburg Jason Schreier. Schreier tweeted to say Bethesda plans to tease this release date at E3 next month. Bethesda announced Starfield at E3 2018, calling the game its next generation first-person sci-fi RPG. The initial reveal showed us as a ship. You know what? I'm not going to go through all that. You see the teaser yourself if you want to watch the teaser. But anyways, going on. Since then, Microsoft bought Bethesda, so expect this Starfield to show up on PC and Xbox Series X and S, but not PlayStation 5. And that's pretty much it for that article. Point blank, simple, what we just said. They announced it, and people are speculating that it was going to be exclusive on the PlayStation. Xbox and PC, which should pretty much happened. Now, Starfield, in my opinion, we don't know anything about it besides even the teaser doesn't really give you much, which is okay. I'm okay with that because I don't want to know too much about a game that's coming out next year. But the hype train is pretty big for that game. I guess it's so big because people don't really know too much about it and they let their imagination run with them. And I don't know, man. Starfield from Bethesda, they want it to be this new, never before made RPG, at least from that studio over there. Bethesda's a big team in general, so I don't know. I'm hyped, but obviously, like I said, I'm not that hyped because I don't know too much about it. But I'm a sci-fi guy, as you know, and I'm all for it. I want to see at least by the end of next year. Something's telling me that they're gonna bring this up on E3. I feel like this is gonna come up on E3, and E3 is literally 2 weeks away, because it's June 14th, I think. All right, so pretty much 2.5 weeks or so. But E3 is coming pretty soon, and we're pretty much gonna expect an announcement around the corner. I feel like for that game, even though it's coming out in 2022, will we see some gameplay? I don't know. Possibly, possibly not. I mean, we all remember Beyond Good and Evil too. That game they've been showing for years and never came out. They stopped talking about it. Obviously, Starfield is a bigger thing because now it's an Xbox exclusive. So pretty much joined the first party launch on the Gamecast, as we all know. And besides Halo coming out next year, I believe it's coming out next year. No, it's coming out this year. I'm sorry, supposedly. Yeah, it was. This is one of the games that I'm pretty sure people are going to be pumped on the Xbox side, obviously. For I'm not a fanboy, but I'm pretty sure a lot of fanboys are going to want this game on their side, and hopefully proves that it's actually able to stack up against the ranks of Gears and Halo and Forza franchise, because that's the only franchises that comes to, at least in my mind, when I think of Xbox as far as the first party exclusives. Now, obviously they have a lot more studios that were announced over the past couple last year and this year that they pretty much opened up, and they're working on a bunch of games and new IPs right now. So we'll see when that, we'll see what happens when it comes to that. But Starfield, I'm pretty sure after they obtain that Bethesda deal, that was going to be their main forefront game that they're going to put on the front lines that's coming out next year for this system.
Yeah,
But,
I think
yeah, what are your thoughts on that when it comes to the Starfield game? I know it's not too many to think about since it's that was close. Something like came down. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
yeah, I know there's not too much to show for Starfield at the moment, but I think Bethesda needs to prove themselves now. I mean, I know they have such a huge fan base and there's very dedicated community for Bethesda, but the past, I'd say, like 5 to 10 years, like, all right, what are they making Skyrim again for the 20th time? They're the Fallout 76 debacle. Like,
Yeah,
in my eyes, like they have a lot to prove
yeah,
with this game coming out.
I completely agree.
You know, and so I don't really kind of feel any two ways about Starfield. Bethesda for me has kind of fallen off. You know, just like BioWare with Anthem and you know
Yeah, yeah,
Bungie with Destiny. All these like great Goliaths of gaming are not the same anymore.
of course. Yeah,
So
it's a lot of switching up going on, but I definitely agree with you because yeah, the fiasco with Fallout 76 being the way it was when it came out at launch, really did put a paint a different picture, a shade of color on Bethesda as a whole company, especially after the announcements before they came out with the game. So they're definitely not in good graces with the fans right now. So Starfield being exclusive, I'd hope that Microsoft are overseeing that in a way where I know as far as the deal when they acquired Bethesda that they're still letting Bethesda do whatever they want to do for the most part. So they're not like they're not down their necks and breathe. They're not breathing down their necks while playing it while they're making the game. But I'd hope that they send them in a direction where this game is actually polished as much as it can be, so we won't have another Fallout 76 situation. That being said, Microsoft Microsoft is in my good. You know, Microsoft is not in my good graces. Neither they're in my. They're not in my bad graces either. I mean, I love what they're doing with Games Pass, putting all the games and exclusive games and even the non-exclusive games on Games Pass, aka Outriders. But I have yet to see what they did, what they're going to do with these new studios they acquired, especially something as big as Bethesda, when it comes to overseeing their projects. So I feel like Microsoft has something to prove in that field as well. Besides Bethesda, but hopefully that helps with Bethesda's situation with Starfield, since they're not focusing on multiple platforms, and they're not focusing on hopefully it's not rushed under Microsoft,
Mm.
like rushing out, you know. So I want them to take their time, whatever the game may be. I don't know what type of genre it's gonna be in. I don't know. I know it's gonna be an RPG, but I don't know exactly overall how that game is gonna turn out as far as gameplays and stuff goes. But I'm not excited for the game itself. I'm excited to see what they may show at E3. Hopefully, if they do a show at E3, I'm 90% positive they're gonna show it at E3. But I am a little excited about seeing what that game is capable of, at least on a gameplay trailer or something, some type of gameplay, no CGI like last trailer, like the last teaser. But yeah, I agree with you. They have a lot to prove, and hopefully, I think, I don't know if this is their next big game, Starfield, which is next year. I don't know what else they're coming out with this year.
Uh,
That's brand new at least.
oh yeah, I don't know about this year. Well, there's rumors of Elder Scrolls 6,
Yeah, that's more
but
likely I see that next year.
yeah,
But that's just a huge company, so who knows? But you know, I'm pretty sure they're working on both games at the same time right now, since they did say that was in development, early development. But yeah, we'll see what they come up with. Hopefully at E3.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that leads us to our next story of the day: Destiny 2 being crossplay for Strike playlists only so far. And that kind of it was one of those things when I heard about it, and when I found out and seen that, I was like, wasn't it always crossplay? Like, is it because the game is already cross progression? I knew that much, but it felt like crossplay was already a part of it, even though I knew it wasn't. So it was kind of weird how that worked out. But yeah, this story's from Tom Phillips, editor over at Eurogamer again, and this is what he posted up yesterday, actually. Destiny's 2 official taste of crossplay arrives next week, following its recent accidental switch on, then switch off again. We had that for in the past with Fortnite, but okay. From the 25th to the 27th of May, Bungie will deploy a unique Vanguard Strike playlist, crossplay beta playlist, to test what works and find out what doesn't. Anyone on PlayStation, Steam, Xbox, even Stadia can take part. Play 3 strikes in the playlists and you'll get a special emblem for your trouble. Why did they word it that way? What do you mean trouble? Well, are we like testing out the worst of the beta, like alpha stage, for our troubles? Like we don't play Destiny already. You won't be able to add friends from or form fire teams for this activity yet. All of these features will come next season in late August, when Bungie adds crossplay to Destiny 2 officially. So, that's big, but not big at the same time. To me, at least. Because crossplay, I felt like I said before, I felt like it was already in it already, but it wasn't. But, you know, nobody really, I don't feel like nobody was really, too many people, I'm going to say, was asking for that. But it's always welcome. Crossplay, I feel like it was one of the best things in our gaming industry in this recent generation. That's pretty much blurring the line between the console wars, and nothing against the console wars. I always like competition, at least for the company side. But I would want everybody to play together as much as possible in any multiplayer game as possible. So I do like hearing that, no matter what, no matter where it's coming from, so far. But what are your thoughts on this? The crossplay just for fire teams, but not allowing your friends to join. Well, pretty much inviting friends and setting up your fire team.
Well, I guess I got to start somewhere. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like cross-play is the right move. Um, they have, I guess, cross saves now is what for a while now. I think since even before Shadowkeep came out, because I kind of picked up the game around then, and I had everything on PS4, so I
Okay.
used the cross save feature to bring everything over to PC. And when the game first came out, I remember it didn't have anything like that. You kind of had to start, or like you could start from scratch on a new platform, or it was something like you had to like get in touch with Bungie and they had to like actually move your account or something a little bit more involved like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they just didn't have this kind of sooner, quite honestly.
Yeah, I really
Um,
don't know why either with the cross progression, but who knows how that works with the cross progression and cross play aspect. I didn't. It may be difficult, more difficult than I know. I don't know.
and I guess with they're just I guess they're just in the threats for now. But I would imagine that the whole game is going to be crossplay at some point, and I think it'll the gameplay will be better for it. Especially like Trials, right? There's probably a very small portion of the community that plays Trials on like PC. The game's more
Hmm.
popular, I believe, on consoles. So to incorporate like the console play group
Yeah.
into the PC play group, I think it's going to be better for everyone in the long run.
Man, that I didn't know. I didn't know the player rate between the consoles and PCs like that. But that's good to know. Yeah. As you as I said last week, I've been playing Destiny recently, and while I'm playing it, I don't get the sense that it's funny because so many people on Destiny. I don't get the sense that that is not crossplay. I feel like it's already crossplay, but I guess that make it more the better for individually people that you actually know coming into your games on different systems. So yeah, man, I have nothing. I don't have too much to say about that besides welcome. Bring it all in, man. Like you starting off very small, which is I guess adequate for that company. It's much better, I guess, because they have to deal with a large play account of players on these systems. So obviously they don't want anything to crash often while doing this trial test. So what is it? The 25th to the 27th? Yeah. So short window, but hey, whatever it takes to start, right? You got to start
Yeah,
somewhere, like you said. But speaking of starting, I want to start God of War now, but that's so far away. I don't know exactly if that game is going to get pushed or not because I feel like they didn't officially announce it. I don't think they officially announced it this year, Ragnarok, but that and a number of games that may be coming out this year or next year. I don't know what to look at after. I don't know what else to get hyped for after Ratchet and Clank is what I'm saying. Because
yeah,
Ratchet and Clank is the only bigger game, exclusive game that's coming to PS5 next month. We're right around the corner actually. So the reason why I bring that up is because I want to talk about our most anticipated games this year. Uh, a lot of them. I'm not even gonna say a lot of them. A few of them already came out for us. One of them was Cyberpunk, and Cyberpunk did not do well at all. For the most part, as far as consoles mainly, and PC, to a certain extent. But overall, the game's in repair mode, so that was a huge letdown for a lot of people. Not so much for me because I actually did have a good experience. I actually beat it on the PS5 first, for the PS4 version, of course. But I ended up starting over, of course, when I upgraded my PC parts for it. So
yeah. I played on PC. Um, I was very much so let down. I had actually planned to do multiple playthroughs, back to back,
mm-hmm.
and how the game came out in the state that it was in, uh, didn't have the motivation to play after my first. I beat the game, and there were immersion breaking bugs here and there, and it was not well optimized at all. But the story wise, a great game. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't what they promised.
Oh yeah, far from it actually. That I can agree with, even though it wasn't so much of a letdown to me. But I guess my anticipation. No, I can't lie. My anticipation was sky freaking high. That game, I was expecting it to replace The Witcher 3 for me when it comes to my top game of all time, which it didn't, obviously. But I'm hoping that when they do finish repairing what they need to repair for the game, they pull off a No Man's Sky thing and come back really strong, because I do love CD Projekt Red as a company. For well, as far as their projects, of course. Um, and I want them to make a No Man's Sky return. I hope so, at least by the end of the year or the beginning of next year. But yeah, that Cyberpunk definitely wasn't it this year, and I was hoping it would be in the part of the game of the year category near the end of the year, but I don't think that's gonna happen due to all the negative feedback that the company has gotten so far. So I don't know. We'll wait and see about that. But we do have, besides the Ratchet and Clank coming out soon. I don't know if you've heard of Back for Blood.
Yes, I have, and I am
Okay.
excited for it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. See, I had a feeling that you were
yeah.
gonna be, because that's the Left 4 Dead creators, and that's their new game that they're coming out with. And
Mhm.
I was a huge Left 4 Dead player. I'm gonna say huge, but I was big. I was big on Left 4 Dead back in the day. Two mainly, not one. On the 360 when I first started playing it. Yeah, that's during the college days too. But once I got it on the PC and I played it on Steam, I just we had so many different games we ran in with my colleagues back in college. Over and over, like it was almost we almost like religiously played it, like it was almost if we were part of a league. But it was that fun. It was that much of an addiction towards the loop, the great loop that the game has, the system that they have when it comes to just playing something over and over and never get bored of it. And I hope they bring that into this Back for Blood, which is it slated for this year? I think so, actually.
I think it is.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Back for Blood is stated for this year. I don't know what part of the year, but it is coming on all consoles, of course. Um, and it's been a while since I don't know if it's the same exact team at Turtle Rock from the Left 4 Dead crew. I don't know if it's the same exact people. I know the lead is, but the developers themselves, I don't know if it's the same or not. But I hope they bring their A game in this one, man, and capture the new audience of this generation that hasn't pretty much played what we played back then with the Left 4 Dead 2 and 1. I hope they
Mhm.
bring that they bring that magic back, that feel for the Left 4 Dead genre, because that was I think, what was the other one? Killing Floor. Killing Floor was pretty much the successor to Left 4 Dead 2 in a way, or Killing Floor 2. I never got it too much into that. That was more of a darker tone game, which I didn't. It just wasn't me. I know a lot of
Mhm.
people played it, but Back for Blood. Hopefully, it brings that magic back. Like I said, what do your
Yeah,
thoughts
I
on
mean,
that?
I watched, I caught like teaser trailers for it. Uh, to me, I think it'll do well and great if they kind of just stick to that old formula, and with updated graphics, like,
Oh yeah,
you
I
know,
wonder what
it's gonna
engine
be
they're still
nice.
gonna be using too. Because if they're using the Valve engine still, I mean, Half Life Alex looked great on VR, but I wonder how that's gonna look with the. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna look nice no matter what. But yeah, I believe in the Valve engine with the next gen graphics and stuff. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do well in it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna do well if they keep it simple and they can improve what they can improve on and keep it simple and it's gonna be good. It'll be just like old times,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I
Besides
gotta.
old times, we're gonna have to have the old time to play it too, because I don't have that time anymore like I used to.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that's not gonna repeat itself because we're so busy now these days. But a follow up game after that this year that I am anticipating that they recently released footage on is Deathloop. Now I'm gonna try to explain my best what Deathloop is and when it's coming out, which is next month, I believe. Yeah, it's coming out pretty soon. But I feel like you're gonna get a kick out of this. Were you a fan of Arcane Studios Dishonored games?
I did play. I think I ended up playing both of them, actually. First one more than the second. I think
Okay.
I played the first one a couple times. The second one made it like a once over. But yeah, they were all right.
Yeah, were you a fan of the level how should I put this? Were you a fan of the map that
Uh,
that they created for you in any of the Dishonors?
yeah, I liked how there was multiple angles of attack essentially that you could go about.
Yeah.
Up high, below, around other corners, underground. There were definitely a bunch of different ways you could tackle a situation,
Yeah.
and especially with the powers that you have in the game. It
Okay.
was fun.
Okay. So I asked that because Deathloop is that with a lot more to it. Um it's Dishonored meets Hitman meets a little 007 when it comes to the sound, the theme, I should say. So it's this seems like their biggest project yet, and they're entering the roguelike genre a bit because anytime you die, you start off in the beginning again, and your goal is pretty much to kill uh these 8 head conchos in different biomes. I think it's 8. I believe it's 8. Yeah, 8 heads, bosses or whatever in these different biomes within the day. Now what confused me is when they said a day, the fact that you actually get to choose like Metal Gear Solid Phantom Pain, what time of the day you get to attack these bosses. I don't know how that works. It probably plays into the game's lore somehow when it's still within the day somehow, but who knows. But yeah, you're pretty much that's the only roguelike system in the game. It's pretty much when you die, you start from the beginning. Now, the reason why it's not considered a roguelike is because you're still progressing when you die. Yeah, you lose stuff, but you end up there's parts in the game where you can actually listen to people like Hitman and see exactly how to bypass certain parts to not do them over again. A shortcut, if you will. So you won't have to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Um and the main thing why I say is not a roguelike is because that roguelike system is literally a part of the story itself. So your character and other characters in the game actually remember what's going on as you die and come back, which is neat. I never heard of that before in the game, but that's fucking cool so far. So you come back to life, you know what's going on, but you really don't. You're trying to figure out how to break that loop, but you remember that you're dying and coming back to life and stuff like that. And meanwhile, while you're trying to assassinate these people, or don't assassinate them if you will, you can still pass them if you want. Meanwhile, when you're trying to take down these bosses, you have another entity in the game that can be either a CPU or a player. That it's like Demon Souls, like interferes in your game and tries to kill you. And I forgot the name. I think her name is Janine. It's a female character, and she's an assassin herself, and she's a part of the lore. Whether she's an antagonist or not, we won't know yet till we play it. But I feel like that's very interesting to have a player invade your game. And I don't know how you are when it comes to invasions in games such as Code Vein and Dark Souls series, Souls like games in general. But I get a kick. I get a kick out of that. I enjoy the challenge of another player invading the game. Not when they're teaming up 2 against 3 of us on freaking Dark Souls 3 or whatever. I don't like that too much. But the one player, and not just any player either. This is an actual antagonist, or sorry, not antagonist, but another important character in the story that's coming to attack you. Now, this character, so far from what I've seen and heard, it's kind of out of place in the story. This game takes place in the 70s or 60s or 70s. And she doesn't seem like she's from that time at all. So I'm assuming the guy, I forgot to mention, the person you're playing as, the African American protagonist, Cole. I think his name is Cole. I have to look that back up again. Colt. Sorry, Colt. Colt. I just lost my point. Just like that. Rewind. Colt is pretty much, he fits his time. That's just the setting that you're in, 70s or whatever. This girl, she doesn't at all, and I feel like that's could possibly be, what if she's Colt's daughter from the future, and she's not trying to really kill you, but she's trying to stop the time loop, and but you're in a different mission trying to stop the time loop in a different way. Who knows? I feel like that they didn't show enough to, tell us what's going on, but I feel like that idea right then and there can make you can imagine, either way, or multiple things about these two characters, and I feel like that's kind of a fascinating game. Plus I like Hitman, plus I like the Dishonored, so that's a win-win for me. The Hitman aspect as well is before you even start a mission, you get to select your weapons. So that's another thing too. You get to choose what you want to bring on that mission. So I like that as well. But from what I told you so far, what do you think about that? Like, it's a lot more.
It sounds like it's got a lot of potential, quite honestly.
And that's around the corner, man. That is literally around the corner. But
story-wise as well, it's got a lot of potential. How all that could play out.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see how. Because if you think about, if you have another person invading your game as a character that's related to the story, well, not everyone's going to do like the same thing in the game.
Yeah.
So I guess unless they have an objective that kind of makes it play out the same for everyone,
mm-hmm.
Whether they can complete that objective or not. But if it's more open-ended, it's like, well, how many other permutations can there be?
Exactly.
How can they fit? How can they work that out? So it's definitely an interesting concept.
Yeah, that's coming out next month as well, man. So I can't wait for that as well. Next up is Diablo 4. Now, I'm a huge Diablo 3 fan. I didn't play Diablo 2 back in the day. I wasn't on the PCs and stuff like that back before, but when I did play Diablo 3, I was pretty much grinding the shit out that game too. I'm a huge fan of that dungeon crawler genre. I use the word that for a reason, because they have other dungeon crawlers that's not quite like that, such as I guess what was the people that Larian Studios made something before Baldur's Gate 3. The other one that people put thousands of hours into on freaking Steam, and now it's everywhere. The one known as the greatest RPG of all time. Pretty much people gloating the hell out this game.
Off the top of my head, I can't really
remember. What I'm talking about, though.
If I see it, yeah.
But without losing a point, you can look it up if you want, but without losing a point, Diablo 4. Alright, this game has me thinking both ways. This game could very well suck. No, it can't suck. This game could very well disappoint to a certain extent. Or it can very well be overwhelmingly good. And I don't feel like there's a middle ground between that. I don't feel like it's gonna suck, but I don't feel like it. I feel like it has huge potential to disappoint. And it has huge potential of overwhelmingly being good. Like I said, I don't think people are just gonna play this like, another dungeon crawler. but I like it. No, you're not gonna hear that in the same sentence. I'm sorry. In my opinion, this game, I'm a huge fan of the work, and so far from what I've seen, it could be just another Diablo 3 with new skin. I hope not though. From what I've seen so far, I'm a graphics whore, so I'm loving the new graphics, but I understand it's tricky to make a better game than Diablo 3. Not the launch Diablo 3, that was bad. I'm talking about the one that we know now. And without escaping the Diablo formula too far. So I understand that could be a little tricky. Because they don't want to feel like they're making the same game, but not, at the same time making a totally different game. But that's their job. I'm not a developer, so that's why I'm not sweating it. So I'm just hoping that this game comes out this year and not delayed. But if they have to delay it, I don't really care. Cyberpunk is proof, more than proof enough that people should just wait for games to finish. Like how they delayed my beloved Overwatch 2. Suckers. That was my next anticipated game this year, but no, that's not coming out this year, so whatever. But yeah, I am anticipating a lot for Diablo 4 when that comes out, if that comes out this year. But are you a Diablo player? Well, did you play the old ones?
No, I never really got into Diablo. Though, wasn't that the IP that they got a lot of crap for? They announced like a mobile game or something. Was that the
Oh
same?
yeah.
Yeah, I
Before
heard
they
about that.
before they announced
You know,
Diablo 4,
yeah,
they announced Diablo Immortal, and it was all a mobile game. I'm like, okay, why would you do that first? Like, we know what people want, Blizzard
I
got a lot of
heard.
shit, man. Trust me, Blizzard got a lot of shit. There's a lot of companies that got a lot of shit on this list, this year, but that's one of them.
Yeah, no, I remember watching that video as they announced it. People were booing, literally booing. It's like, wow,
That was cringy as
they
fuck,
messed up
man.
on that.
Yeah, that was cringy as fuck. I'm serious. That made me cringe. I'm like, oh, gotta back up and think. Oh, that's you don't hear that. You don't hear that often. Shit. Straight up live booze. Like, you didn't even try to cut it out. You just, oh, this guy's just up
Yeah,
here. I feel bad for the people that were up on stage. I don't feel like it's their fault, obviously.
they're just the messengers.
Exactly. Shoot the messenger, will you? Like that. I feel that's why I cringe. It's not because people are booing. It's because people are booing at people that is not in control of that decision, and it's like they're left in like on stage looking like idiots. Like, oh, and all they can do is fake smile. I know how. I'm pretty sure they felt really embarrassed at that time. It's like, oh, you don't go through this every day.
Yeah, you could tell that they did not foresee that outcome. They didn't.
I feel like
They
they
just
should
weren't
have,
prepared.
though. I feel like they should have. I feel like they did, and they still wasn't prepared. I feel like they knew that it was going to be a bad uproar, but they still wasn't prepared for it. Because
Uh,
I feel like they know what the people want already. They don't want a Diablo mobile game.
I think they were preaching to the wrong audience. I don't think the stateside we're not too big on
Dude,
mobiles.
those Blizzard fans, I ever since I've seen that, I'm very scared of them, man. I am very scared of that community. But all right, so skipping forward, we have Far Cry 6 and Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't know if you've seen Ghostwire Tokyo last year in the trailer.
Uh,
It's another Bethesda game.
I think I did hear about that.
Okay. Well, Far Cry 6 we all know about.
Yeah.
And that's the one with I don't want to butcher his name. I don't want to butcher his name.
Well, the
But let
guy
me
who
see.
played in
Go on.
uh
Esposito. Esposito. Giancarlo
yeah,
Esposito. I think I said it right.
Breaking Bad guy. Yeah.
I love him as an actor in general, so anything he's in I want to see. But Far Cry over the years has been burned out for me after 3. 4 wasn't it. I didn't even beat 4. I tried it though. Primal I tried. Didn't beat that. That wasn't it. All these games started just like Assassin's Creed after a while started getting the Ubisoft stigma, which is it's just another Ubisoft game. It's just another Ubisoft game and that's it. That's what I felt playing those games, and obviously Ubisoft game is go to this tower, activate that. open the map. You see all these treasures. You get all that, and fucking go back to your whatever and keep upgrading. It's like alright, I can do this, but so many times Ubisoft, and mostly all of your games that came out that was open world was like that. So that's why I kind of got thrown off of Far Cry after 3. What was your Far Cry experience like in the past? Are you excited for 6, or do you want to, did you
No,
fall off a long time ago?
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Far Cry 3 was an awesome game. I loved it. Uh, Far Cry 4, not so much. I don't even think I beat Far Cry 4. It just didn't have the same feel. On top of it was cookie cutter. Started to get
Yeah,
cookie cutter. You know, I didn't even touch Far Cry 5. I did beat Far Cry Primal
you
just
did.
because
How
I
was
had
that?
the time. uh, it was it was definitely I enjoy the story more because because Far Cry 4 tried too hard to beat Far Cry 3.
Yeah, all
So
of us can assume that.
so when they came out with Primal, it was different enough. The story was simpler, you know, and it was cool, just kind of like bow and arrow clubs, like just killing woolly mammoths,
Yeah.
it was a lot simpler. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I beat it because I had the time. If I didn't have the time, I probably wouldn't have beaten it.
Oh boy. So
But
you would say that it's not really worth the experience today.
today, no. I
Okay.
think there's other games you could play, get more enjoyment out of.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I tried it on the PC, man. I didn't get that far. I probably got like 2 hours, 3 hours in the most. And that was it. I was like, yeah, I'm burnt out of this game. I don't even know why I spent the money and bought it at the time, thinking it was going to be a new, you know, an exciting Far Cry game, but no. But
Far Cry needs what they did with Assassin's Creed, with Origins.
yeah, just
It needs a switch up.
redo exactly. Redo the whole thing from the ground up. And I hope that they're doing this with 6. We'll see soon at E3. I'm pretty sure they're going to show that at the E3 because Ubisoft is in E3 this year as well.
Hmm.
Hopefully we see some gameplay. The teaser trailer for Far Cry 6 last year was pretty good. It's just a teaser. They always do good. They always do good with the trailers there most of the time. But Far Cry 6 with this big antagonist in here, and the little kid that he's running with. See how that kid turns out as an antagonist, or go your side as a protagonist. Who knows? And who are you playing as in this game? Who knows? Because that was always another big thing in Far Cry games, mostly at least, was who you were playing as and what type of character is gonna be. Is it gonna be like the freaking stupid character from Far Cry 3? Don't get me wrong, Far Cry 3 was an amazing game, but the character that you played as wasn't. So it was the antagonist in the game that was amazing, aka Voss, and his sister that was weird and freaky, if you know what I mean at the end. But the protagonists were never that interesting. I felt like 4 had something going for it in the beginning because they actually had Ming, the antagonist, take his picture and selfie, and you actually seen the guy's face, and they could have built on there, but from what I've seen and played of 4, it wasn't. They didn't do much with him. I'm hoping they actually give you a really good antagonist. 5, I'm skipping over 5. 5 actually had potential, but at the end of the day, uh, it was still ruined by the Far Cry formula. The same old get this and then get that done. But the story had a lot of potential. I was interested in the antagonists in that game. But 6, I hope that they do go back to start from the ground up, and I hope they give us a good protagonist. I feel like that's what Far Cry needs right now too. It's a good protagonist that you're interested in playing in. 5 kind of made you make your own protagonist, which was the first time in Far Cry. Excuse me, but give us a good, interesting protagonist, and give us a hell. I hope that Esposito is a great antagonist in this game. I hope they don't just put him for like 5-minute cutscene here, and then you get to the middle of the game just to get another cutscene. I hope he's in it a lot, and I hope that they use him well. So that's my thoughts on Far Cry 6, which is coming out this year. Pretty soon, actually. I think in the middle. I think it's probably during the summer. I may be mistaken, but well, what's your thoughts on Far Cry 6?
uh, become increasingly cynical, as I go through life. So, just judging off of the last couple Far Cry games, I really haven't been too hype about those. It's like, you know what? Like, I'm expecting it to be the same, you know,
Same
that
here.
they're not going to do any kind of changes, you
Same
know,
here.
you know, and they could do, it'd be great if they do something new, but maybe it would really kind of help franchise if they kind of went back to the basics. Do you remember Far Cry Predator, I think? I was like
Yeah,
on the Xbox.
I remember.
And that was more of like you know, realistic, kind of like almost survival like vibe type of game where
Dude,
the
Far Cry
gameplay was a little
2.
bit harder, to play because it was more realistic.
Yeah.
And Far Cry 2 was kind of like that too,
Yeah,
but
I sunk so many hours in Far Cry 2. That was my first real Far Cry game that I actually played a lot. Because they had the map editor, which was fucking great at that time.
mhm.
Um, and the whole, that was all new when you're just trying to get to a certain point where everything is kind of attacking you, but not really, but it's like kind of scarce. That was new at the time, and at that time it was awesome to even have a game like that out because you couldn't really compare it to too many other first person shooters at the time. When other first person shooters at the time were more generic and Hollywood based like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But yeah, Far Cry 2 was definitely something. It was a special one of mine after, and then 3 came out and it was really blew up. But yeah, man, if they do go back and
I feel like if they stop focusing on these like theatrical like supervillain and you're the random dude who just becomes the hero, and it's like, well, why not just be like a guerrilla fighter and have go back to the basics where it was a very realistic game, like, you know, it doesn't take much to kill you, it doesn't take much to kill an enemy,
mm-hmm.
that kind of like really like, you know, lifelike experience,
Yeah.
realism to it, because Far Cry got a little bit, mainstream, quote unquote, with the gameplay, it's just
I think it got swallowed. It got swallowed up by its own uh mechanics.
mm,
And when you become your own mechanic, when your whole video game becomes your mechanic, it gets repetitive. After a couple titles, when you keep doing the same thing, because then you're just following off the next game. You're following the next game off of your previous mechanic over and over
mhm.
because it has to be a Far Cry game now. And that turned into a Ubisoft game because they did that with everything with the Assassin's Creed and the open world titles that they did. So I'd hope that they do change up the formula a lot because even though I'm not expecting, like you, I'm not expecting it to, but I hope they really do surprise me with this one because it's about time we get another exciting Far Cry game and not just another Ubisoft game like we see every year.
Yep.
Um, Speaking of Ubisoft games, now Division 2, I'm pretty sure you heard it was going free to play. Not Division 2. They're coming out with a Division game that's free to play.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Division Heartland. Um I'm hoping that actually it's coming out this year too. So I'm hoping that actually is somewhat. I mean, I don't ask too much for Division. Division 2 I like a lot. It's one of my favorite Ubisoft games. And I don't ask too much besides better graphics. The Division could keep doing whatever it's doing. I'm not tired of that yet. But I am so down for the free to play to be somewhat of a next gen version of Division 2. I know it's not going to be as good as Division 2 when it comes to content, probably because it's free to play. But I'm hoping that we get somewhat of a sneak peek of Division 3 within this Heartland, because they're still going to be working on the next title, Division 3, whenever that may be. But that's a small little anticipated game that's in my list this year as well. But I mean, I'll name something that I know we're both anticipating this year, and that's God of War.
Yeah, for sure.
God of War Ragnarok, and Ragnarok would be that if it comes out this year, man. If it makes it this year, it has. I'm telling you right now, I feel like it was gonna have easy competition. And that's me already saying that the game is going to be great when it comes out. That's me already anticipating that the game is going to be great because it's behind the same minds that made the reboot of God of War. So Corey Barlog. So assuming I could be wrong, just like Cyberpunk, but I'm assuming that God of War Ragnarok is going to be great because I cannot wait to see what the hell is next for Kratos and his son Atreus. So
Yeah, I regard the reboot of God of War as like a masterpiece.
oh yeah, you and
I
the whole
played through it.
everybody else.
I played through that game like 3 times. Uh, it's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about it. Like I can't find anything about the game that I could even really complain about. You know,
Yeah,
gameplay was perfect. Story was amazing. Like graphics amazing. Like my only complaint is I wish it were longer. You
man,
know?
that journey to that mountain was nothing like wasn't like any other game that has been out before it and probably after it. Who knows what's gonna top that? And it's funny because I can respect the hell out of what I've seen in that game, what I played in that game, even though it's not my game, wasn't my game of the year that year. It was still I can't without a doubt say that was one of the best games I've ever played. Just personally for me, it wasn't my game of the year, but that was one of the best games I've ever played this generation. I can say that like everybody else is pretty much on the same boat, anyways, with that. But Ragnarok better, whew, man, oh man, they better come this year. Hopefully, I want them to, I want them to blow up the end of the year, like literally just blow us up with a huge game, like because I don't know what's coming out near the end of the year anymore with all these titles being pushed back. You know,
Yeah.
besides Halo, which is supposed to be coming out in November, I think. But who knows how that's gonna, if it's gonna show up or not. And I'm a huge Halo fan. I know I didn't talk about it like that, but I am a huge Halo fan. Um, One of my biggest franchises of all time, as I stated in my previous podcast. But I can't. I'm not expecting too much from this one. That's the problem, and I'm not that's not necessarily. I'm not saying that the game is gonna be bad or mediocre. But since they had to push back and delay after what they shown and redo a couple things after the original screening for that game, after what I've seen from it, I'm not expecting too much from it so far. And it's sad to say because Halo 4 and 5 is just slowly bring that level of anticipation down for me for these Halo games. They're not bad games, respectively. They're just not as good as the previous games before them, story wise.
Oh yeah.
The multiplayer's been getting better and better to me. Don't get me wrong. I like the multiplayer for 5 a lot. With the even though it was new for the aiming down the sights thing and all that stuff, and the sprinting automatically, I still liked it a lot. I still enjoyed it when I played, especially Warzone. But the story just didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for me in 4, and it didn't do it for me on 5. And
No, have you read the Halo books at all?
I've started reading Fall of Reach, and I think I went halfway through it, and I forgot what happened. But
So
I
I would
did see a brief synopsis of a couple of the stories, just the Halo lore in general,
yeah.
including the side movies that came out on a couple of
I,
years
w-
ago.
I would say Halo's fall for me has been more egregious because I've read all the books and I've read the Forerunner saga.
Mm-hmm.
And to see like Halo 4 with the Didact and what happened,
I do know
barely
what you're
remember
talking
Halo
about.
5.
I do know what you're
You
talking
know,
about with the didact thing because I did read. Sorry, not read. I did see a video comparing the story for that and what was supposed to go down and stuff like that a while ago, or for the
yeah.
novels. So I do know what you're talking about with that, including Reach. Reach.
Oh, don't even get me started on Reach.
Granted, Reach was the best to me. That was the last project they did, and that was the best project they did when it comes to story. I fucking love Reach, the game story itself. But compared to the content that they had that they could have put in from the books, obviously the Fall of Reach took place after Reach, the game. Was it after? No,
Uh,
no, it was before.
technically,
It
the
was
Fall
before.
of Reach was before the
It was
events of
before.
Halo,
Yeah, because the Master Chief was already on the getting transferred to the Pillar of Autumn. That's right. It was before.
and honestly, like Reach is my most hated Halo game
Really? Wow, that's
because
good to know.
the story is it does not follow the book at all. So like the book's ruined it for me, you know.
Oh,
So
I
I think
see.
like as a book reader for like the Halo universe, like anything outside of like Halos 1 through 3 is just garbage, you
Oh,
know.
wow.
That's just like my opinion,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Like uh you know, the Fall of Reach was just there was so much more going on, and the people shown in the game weren't even really like canon. You know, they were just random. It was a random team put together. Like as
Mm-hmm.
you know, they were never in the book. It was never like they were never in the story. So I just kind of like it's like Reach. The game doesn't exist for me. Sort of like I mean, I played it when it came out,
Yeah.
but I absolutely hated it
Wow,
story
that's
wise.
that's
You
surprising to
know,
know. But you know what?
yeah,
It's not surprising if you read all the books. If you read all the books as well. See, I'm now that you're saying that, I'm kind of glad I didn't at the time, because I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much. But that's that's different perspectives on different sides. Obviously, of what you seen or what you read first. So, I get it. When you say that, but
and that's strictly story. I mean, the gameplay was fine. You know, it's a
mm-hmm.
Halo game. It's fun to play,
Yeah.
but you know, strictly like story and plot. Like
Well, Reach was the why I love this so much was because of the plot, was because of the story. So that's why I'm glad I didn't read. Well, I'm glad I didn't know too much about the novels at that time because I didn't look up stuff until after I played Reach, anyways. But I think it was like 4 when I did. Yeah, when 4 came out, that's when I was doing my big, uh, pretty much going back to a bunch of YouTube videos, checking up on the lore and stuff, just to see what was gonna happen in 4, because 4 looked very different when it was before it came out, when it was showing off the didact and stuff like that. So I was interested in the lore a lot more when I seen that too.
yeah, and that's the thing too with the Didact and the whole Halo 4 storyline. Like, because I read the Foreigner saga, and like you know, the Foreigner were on such like a different level technology wise,
Yeah.
and like they got messed up. Like the Flood messed them up, and that's like this is a whole like you know rabbit hole to get down into.
Yeah.
But you know, for the Didact to make an appearance like in the modern day Halo universe, it's like you're not gonna win. Like there's no way, there's no getting out of that. So to me, it's like you end up beating the Didact in Halo 4. Like that's just inconceivable. The level of technology that they have is just so far above what's even like around in modern day Halo universe.
Yeah.
You know, it just it was over the top and kind of ridiculous for me, like the storyline as far as beating the Didact. Like,
Yeah. It
and
felt
then on
pointless
top of
too.
that, the Didact that came out of the Cryptum wasn't even the original Didact. I was technically Born Stellar. I think that's what his name was. Born Stellar.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he wasn't even like he was his own person, but ended up becoming the Didact, but like almost like a clone of him. I, yeah, it's kind of a little bit complicated, but
Yeah.
the original Didact I think died back in the war, and then he became the surrogate Didact with like surrogate like his memories or something, and
Yeah.
then he's the one who got trapped in the crypto. So it wasn't
And
even like the original Didact. I don't even think they addressed that like in Halo 4 at all. Like I don't know. It was
yeah,
just
343 just wanted to come out with a Halo game to please the audience, and it didn't please all of the audiences, but
no.
it did, uh, it did damper our anticipations a bit after 3. So when it comes to the next following games after, because 343 showed that they wasn't up there with Bungie, at least at the time, since Reach was like the biggest project before it came out. But hey, to each his own on that one. I Halo Infinite, going back to that, it's we'll see what they do with this, man. It's a whole new story. I'm pretty sure we're all gonna hate Cortana no matter what, before and after the game is over. So
Yeah,
she doesn't
they
fuck with our hearts in 5. I don't
they
know.
just they dug themselves a hole. Instead of going down through this whole Forerunner plot, they should have just focused on maybe like getting rid of the Flood for good, and then just kind of using like the Forerunner technology to do that. You know,
Yeah,
like bringing in the Forerunners, bringing in the Didact, the Librarian, seeing these characters in the game. And then because it gets it's too ridiculous. It gets at least the way they're handling it,
yeah,
the way they're presenting the story. So like needless to say, it's sort of like 4 was a big hit, 5 was a worse hit. It's like I almost don't feel any. Like, Halo has been dead to me for so long. It's like I don't even. I feel nothing.
Listen, I'm
Like,
intrigued. I'm intrigued in a new story because of Halo Wars too. How that ties in with the Halo Wars lore. How it ties in with the new Halo game. So I'm interested on that aspect. I honestly gave up a lot of things I cared about with Halo sometimes. Well, after a certain time here and there, especially with Katana. So I've started focusing on newer things to care about. So that's how I'm looking at it. That's why I'm not that hyped up for it like I would be normally back in the day. But I am looking forward to seeing what they do with this Infinite, since they didn't even put a number on this one. So we'll see what that spells out for us near the end of the year. But that's all the time we have today. And yeah, Ragnarok, man. I hope you, Corey, please, please, please. I know, I understand delays now. It's like everything is delayed. Even the Gotham Knights Batman game, which we didn't even talk on. God damn it! Listen, please, just don't. Unless you really have to, don't delay this one. I want it out this year. I want it to be the saving grace of 2021 after we have a very dead summer. And yeah, Steve, thanks for joining me again on this weekend podcast, and I look forward to many more with you and hopefully KRE, all three of us. And I want actually I want to actually do some anime stuff, man. It's about time I get into that stuff too. That's a lot.
yeah,
I won't limit the anime ones to no damn hour. That's for sure. But
yeah. I don't think you can get around that. We're gonna
yeah,
need
right.
more time with that.
But guys, thanks for watching, and comment below, and hopefully you subscribe, and we'll continue doing this hopefully weekly or bi-weekly or less than weekly. Thanks for joining, guys. Peace out.
Okay, see ya.